So, what makes me cranky about the Equalizer 2? There's no big box store in it. I've always called the Equalizer 1 Home Depot hero because so much of it centers around the Lowe's, Home Depot, Wal-mart analog that Denzel Washington works at in that movie. It's a huge part of what made it such a unique and charming action flick, since you had this guy who used to be a super secret assassin basically working at Lowe's, and when people start messing with the few friends he's made despite his attempts to remain a loner, he starts using random stuff from the store to get payback for them. Hell, the climax of the film is him turning that place into a death trap for a bunch of gangsters, and it's so inventive and fun that it really makes what should have been another lame, generic Bourne movie knockoff into something worth watching. But this one kind of abandons that hook. I probably should have known, since the trailers emphasize a more generic revenge-based plot, but this starts off so much in the same spirit as the last one that I thought that might just be misdirection. While Denzel isn't working at Wal-mart anymore, his new job driving for Lyft both pays for the movie and helps him clandestinely identify people who might be in need of his particular set of skills. That dovetails pretty well into the end of the last movie, where he decides to offer his services for hire on the internet. So it starts off with that same charm of Denzel meeting somebody in a bad situation and then taking care of it for them, which I enjoyed thoroughly. The new people are sympathetic characters with real problems, and I look forward to seeing how many different ways Denzel could brutally beat the assholes causing those problems. Unfortunately, the movie soon shifts gears into a more generic, somebody killed my friend, and once I figure out who done it, I'm gonna find them and murder the shit out of them thing that you've seen done everywhere else. Once that happens, the magic kind of falls out of the movie, and it ends up robbing a few of the threads set up at the beginning of a satisfying conclusion, if they get one at all. Now, that's not to say that the movie completely falls flat. Antoine Fuqua is no slouch, so it's well enough directed that it's still genuinely suspenseful all the way to the end, even with the obvious twists. It's also paced really well, so it doesn't get boring, and the transition to the, I guess you'd call it, main plotline is pretty seamless, so it doesn't feel like the movie abruptly turns into something else, unlike a lot of the other stuff that's come out of the past few years where you feel like you're watching 3 different movies by the end. It's one solid, contiguous experience. It's just far less unique than its predecessor, and considerably more anticlimactic than Denzel using nail guns and microwaves to slaughter Russian mafia guys in a super Wal-mart facsimile while Zach Hemsey's vengeance plays in the background. Even though there isn't anything quite that creative in here, there are still some awesome sequences, both action and otherwise. I especially love that this movie basically finds a way to have a car chase without anyone actually being chased. It's literally one car driving really fast just to make the fight inside of it more entertaining. All that hand-to-hand stuff is just as brutal as the last one, by the way, although Denzel's age is certainly showing since they quite obviously had to cut around him in several places. Definitely had a few conspicuously wide shots that were making it a point not to show any part of the Equalizer's face, and some quick cuts up close to hands and chests instead of showing the full motions. But he's still Denzel, so it's worth it for all the gravitas he brings to the rest of the movie. There's a particularly great scene where he pulls out the full fences persona and starts essentially rebuking the entire social justice warrior victim mentality, which is always a refreshing change of pace for Hollywood. He's really good at walking the line with this character, too. Most of the time, these super assassins are broken, old, alcoholic killers with a death wish, but Denzel plays him as a guy who just accepts what he did as necessary, even if he might regret it, and who goes about his new killing with ruthless efficiency. Even when it's personal, he's not there raging at the guys, just taking them out with practiced precision. Gives him a level of menace that could easily get lost with a more "you will die screaming" kind of performance. Can also turn it on and off at will, so one minute Denzel's all friendly, and then the next he's got those dead shark eyes, and you know somebody just made a terrible mistake on the order of killing John Wick's dog. So despite the fact that it gives up on the Home Depot hero concept in the middle and waters down everything from the villains to the soundtrack, I still really enjoyed Equalizer 2. Maybe I'm just being too easy on it because of so many disappointingly bad action flicks and sequels this year, but I'm going to recommend it at a full price ticket to tide you over until Mission Impossible comes out next week. Even as I was silently grumbling about it falling into the same routine as so many other movies like this, the execution was still good enough to keep me interested, and so for me, it was worth the price of admission. That's what I thought about the Equalizer 2 anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want me to continue to take revenge for people assaulted by bad movies, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more reviews.